Hi everyone, I'm Kimberly DiPersia. I'm the artistic director of All the Line Studio and Incubator. And we've been doing these monthly screenwriter interviews in preparation for our Next Step Screenplay Series, which is the last Monday of every month at Bynx in downtown Orlando. And this month is actually a little special. It's not so much a screenplay as a series of different skits and sketches as part of Can Meet Theater, which is a podcast. And we have Doug McDowell here, the creator, co-creator of Can Meet Theater, to talk about it and tell us a little about himself and why you want to come see Monday's show. So first off, Doug, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Great to be
Now
here.
we're
So,
glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into writing. All that history.
okay, so my name is Doug McDowell. I have been I best describe myself as a somewhat accomplished amateur when it comes to acting. And as a writer, I can only say I'm still an amateur and quite a frustrated one. Um, but I've been doing theater of one kind or another, well, since probably I was in fifth grade. And I was very active in my, before I moved back to Orlando 3 years ago, I lived in Fernandina Beach, Florida, which is a small town, but one that had a very active art scene. And believe it or not, at one time we had three theaters in the little town. And
Wow.
I was active in all of those and actually helped to found one of those with some friends of mine. So I've always had an interest in that. I've always loved comedy. People have always said I should be a stand-up comedian. I have never actually really actually done stand-up. Some people are surprised to hear that. Um, I have a very boring government job, which I hope I can keep. So we won't go into that. But that allows me the ability to really do this in my spare time. I enjoy working with creative people. I actually enjoy working with people who can do things that I could never do in a million years. That's one of the great joys of actually doing this, is to meet talent, such incredibly talented people. So I moved here to Orlando, and soon after that, I met you and became involved when you were doing the egos,
Mhm.
which were short sketch videos, most part on YouTube. They are now out there in the world and on all sorts of platforms these days, and you can go see them. So that was a new thing for me, and I was really excited about it. And soon after that, I did some writing for the egos and really enjoyed that and realized, hey, I cannot write the great American novel yet, and screenplays and stage plays. I've written some things, and I'm not very happy with any of them. But 5 minute comedy sketch, looks like I've got a bit of a talent for that, maybe. So one day I was at home and I thought maybe I could make films like my friends do. And then I saw how much all of this costs, and I went, no, and I don't know what I'm doing. Um, I had been interested in podcasts for a while, and my co-producer and co-writer, Wayne Cothran, who some of you know, was always, he lives in Fernandina Beach. We met in a writers group up there. And he had always been nudging me to do something like this. He had a lot of comedy scripts um, that have made their way into Can Meet Theater. So he was always nudging me to do this. So I said, well, maybe I'll try it. So it began very humbly, where I bought a cheap microphone and I bought some, software, and just started fooling around and recording some stuff on my own and thought, well, maybe we could put this together in some kind of a show or something. And it was very humble in the beginning. The first big piece that I ever put together was, in fact, called. Well, it had a very long title, but the short title is The Dessert, and we're actually going to do that sketch with an expanded cast, or a version of that. It won't be the same as what you'll hear on the podcast, but a version of that we are going to do with the live show this time. So you're going to get to see that. And that was the first piece I did, which was based on a little piece that I'd written for an open mic night just to read and get some laughs. And I put it out there. I found some silly sound effects. I went online. I started looking into like all of these weird things like in the Internet Archive, all this stuff that's in the public domain. And I found a particular collection in the public domain. It's called the Prelinger Archive, if anyone's interested. And it is largely old, um, either public service films like the things they'd show you in school to make sure you didn't end up on drugs or getting pregnant or whatever people were scared of, or old sort of industrial promotional films for all sorts of companies and things, and all in the public domain. And there's some stuff in there that is unintentionally hilarious at this point, and makes for fun things to stick in there. So that became this sort of mid-century theming became sort of a thing. And you can see that's our logo. Spamela Anderson, we call her, um, lady with the
Great
can.
logo. She's
And
awesome.
so all of that just started to gel together, and I put this one episode together and went online and researched. Well, what do you do? How do you get a podcast out there, and how do you get a hosting service? How do you do this? It was all new to me, but it was all new and fun. And so I just threw myself in it. So I put this one episode out there, this weird thing of maybe 20 minutes of strange stuff. Um, and then I told people I did that. And then I asked my friends, would they be interested in maybe writing some stuff or doing that? And wow, it took off from there because I started to be inundated with scripts. And I've had a tremendous, support from the local acting community. We have sort of a core group of folks that are with us for most episodes. But at this point, I mean, I think we've had 30 or 40 people that have worked on the show,
Yeah.
either acting or writing or otherwise in it. And it's evolved over time. I think we start. I mean, I still don't know what I'm doing, but we're slowly learning how to do it. And we were just throwing stuff out there, but as it's gone by, we've sort of shaped it, and we've kind of come up with a formula for it. And after this live show, we're going to officially have our second season. I mean, we've been out there for a couple of years, but we're going to continue doing more of the same. But we're also going to be looking at taking things in different directions, and we're just going to see where that goes and see what kind of an audience we can build.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun. If you want the name, I needed a weird name. And I think initially I was thinking, well, let's call it Mystery Meat Theater. But when I researched podcasts, there was a podcast, albeit a very obscure one, but it was already called Mystery Meat. And I went, oh, okay, well, I don't want to do that. I want to do something that's totally original and nobody's got the domains for it or anything. And I went to Publix and I was thinking it over. And I looked up on aisle 3 or 4, I can't remember which one it is, and there on the side it said canned meat. And I went, canned meat theater. And I went, "Hmm,
And thus it
that
was
has
born.
nothing to it." So
Well,
we
I
decided to go with that. And of course, we have, and you can see where that's led. So yeah.
Mhm. Well, I think you sell
Uh,
yourself short. It's very funny writing, and and the voice acting is great. Like the cast, all the cast just does really great job. Like every episode,
yeah,
there are
yeah,
13 episodes so far, right? And there's like a bonus one or two that kind of floating around.
yeah,
And I think what's very interesting is, going from, film medium and going to, podcast format is you're kind of able to do things that you're not able to do for a film format. Like you have certain sketches that would be crazy to try to film, like one of the opening one for this, this live show involves like an airship and time travel, like all this stuff, which is, in a period piece, it's set, back in the 1800s. So it's, it's that kind of stuff you can't really do, on an indie film budget, but you can do it on a podcast budget. And
Yeah.
the sound effects, the music really build the whole world in such a fun way for these sketches that,
Yeah.
you can really visualize it, you can really see what's going on. And it's a really cool medium that, and I've done writing and I've done acting in it as well. I'm an actor for this
Yep.
for the show on Monday. And yeah, and it's just really fun to mix it up because, going from such a visual style to just audio, you get to really play with things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's been fun for me because it's been just a whole new, just creative field for me.
Mhm.
And one of the things is like, we're looking down the line. It's like, well, someday I'd like to like actually record in real. We do it in my apartment, but we have equipment that we can really do get some good sound out of it. Someday it would be great if we had a real studio. But the thing about real studios is they always want to give you an engineer, and I'm like, I don't want an engineer. That's the part I like doing myself. I'm not an engineer yet, but I'm learning all this stuff,
Mhm.
and it's so fun to figure that out.
Mhm.
It's an entirely new sort of world for me, which not one that I never thought, well, I had a talent for, or that I would ever do anything with. But yeah, you're right. You can do so much with just a few sound effects and things like that, and we really do put them to good use. And you can create these little worlds, and it's a lot of fun, and you can do it for not too much money. Um, and yeah, it's really cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's different from 90% of the podcasts out there, which I commonly refer to as two dudes talking about stuff. Uh, which that
Yeah.
already is they do, but there's a lot more effort and production value that has to go into this,
Mhm.
which is probably why you don't see more podcasts like this. But I think at this point we're kind of committed to putting that kind of product out there. We're just looking for ways to make it better and looking for ways to market it to a bigger audience. And I think we're going to find that
Yeah,
in the
I,
near
I
future.
think so. It's really funny and it's really good. So, anyone that's like listening to and watching this interview, you just go to canmeettheater.com, just Google it, and you're gonna find all like you can listen to it on like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, like pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. You can listen to. So it's on a different anywhere you listen, you can find it. And we did this live show. We did a live show of Can Meet Theater last year. And it was such a hit. It was really fun to take the audio, just these audio sketches and like put them on stage in front of an audience, get that immediate audience feedback. And since the actors are also used to performing live as well, not just voice acting, they're able to give we're able to give like those expressions and gestures and all those types of things that you don't see on the podcast when you're listening. And then we at Next Step we incorporate sound and music, so we have Michael F. Lewis, who's our designated sound guy, making all the magic of the sounds live. So it really is a fun show to do. And so, you've done that last year, coming back again. What are you excited for this round, for this next step? Um,
Oh, well, yeah, we did have a really good time last year. And like you said, it was great to have that audience feedback. Like I said, my background was in live theater, so I love that. And that's something that sort of depend on. So doing this, yeah, there were some of these things. We may have occasionally done an open mic night and we put some version of it out there, so we got a little bit of feedback. But in a lot of cases, this was the first time we really had that immediate audience feedback, and it was very gratifying that people did find it as funny as we thought it was. So this year we're really hoping for more of that. It's you're going to see different stuff than you saw last year. Some longer pieces. You mentioned, yeah, the one we're going to start with, The Major, which is sort of a steampunk parody. It's one of my favorites, and that's probably one that you're going to see sequels to, and we're going to expand upon in the new season, I think. We're going to have some favorites. Miss Fortune, our fortune teller, one of our favorite ones, she'll be back. Um, and we've got some stuff that's sort of really out there that people haven't seen before. We have one new sketch this time that I think is going to be a big hit. I'm not going to say any more than that, but yeah, we're really looking forward to having a fun evening both for the performers and for the audience. I think it's going to be a good show,
Oh, it's
and
definitely
it's
gonna
good.
be it's gonna be
Yeah,
fun. I mean, we've been cracking ourselves up at rehearsals already. And so
yeah,
that's
that's true. Yeah,
so it'll be great to have an audience there to laugh at it in person,
yes.
and get some surprises and all of that. So yeah, like if you've listened to the podcast before, you're gonna get more out of it because you're seeing it live with actors on stage. And if you haven't listened to the podcast, you're gonna, get immersed in what is Can Meet Theater, the weirdness, the strangeness of it, and
Mhm.
all really fun characters that, yeah, there are continued sketches. So, if you're like, oh, I really like this character, chances are they're gonna come back in another episode, for all of
Yep.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Well, awesome. Yeah, like I said, I'm so excited to have Can Meet Theater back with our Next Step series because it really gives a nice mix up, of what we normally do from the staged reading of the feature script. So mixing it up with sketches, and the podcast is just really really fun. So yeah, so thank you, Doug, so much. I really appreciate you chatting with me about it all.
Thank
And
you.
you're very welcome. And for those of you that are tuning in, this Monday, August 25th at 7 p.m. at Bynx Orlando, be there. You'll see a really fun, entertaining show, and you'll get to meet everyone live and in person. So that's also a fun
The
plus.
most fun you'll have on a Monday night in downtown Orlando, we guarantee.
I like that. We should start sloganing that. The most fun you'll have on a Monday
The
night
most
in
fun you'll have on a
downtown
Monday
Orlando.
night. So tell your coworkers. Got the Monday blues? Come on down. We'll cure them.
Come
So
on down. Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much, and have a
thank
great rest
you.
of your night. And
All right.
thank you for tuning in.